Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host as always, Professor Prime. So, this is my Math in the World series, a series where I talk about how math interacts with different fields, different mediums, and these days, franchises as well, and so on and so forth. And in this particular video, because I do write down recommendations, this is a recommendation I got a while back from my mother actually about math and medicine. And so I wanted to talk about that. And just to begin, there's actually so much that you can talk about. But here's what I'm envisioning for this video to keep within the time frame that I'm looking into. So I'm thinking about talking about, well, medicine itself, like the product, but medicine, the field, and talking about things also in a meta contextual way. Um, and kind of just tying it all in as we go along. So that's the idea, that's the plan, and everything that I mention, can be expanded upon, right? You all can ask your own questions too, and see how else it might be used, like together, like math and medicine, that is. So yeah, shall we begin? Yeah, we shall. So let's start with medicine, the product. When you look at different medicines that you could take, there's a lot that goes into that. And really, with everything I'm going to talk about in this video, each of the subtopics could actually be their own videos, and they might very well be in the future. But when we talk about the products, medicine, the product, right? There's a lot of chemistry that goes into that, and if you didn't know, there's a lot of math and chemistry. Like, it gets kind of insane, and there's also a lot of math and bio, and that's related to this too, right? Because when we have medicine, what we're doing, we're healing our body, we're preventing this, we're preventing that, and so there's a lot of chemistry in there. There's a lot of bio in there, a lot of biochemistry, a lot of math and all of that. So right off the bat, just like in its creation, there's a lot to consider. But then there's also more, because right when you're taking medicine, you have to know how to count the right dose, or how many pills should you be taking, or how much of this medicine should you have, and you have to be able to like divvy that up over a certain time period. So math is used in all that, and then there's the distribution, and that gets crazy within its own right, because like, well, how much does medicine go for? Like, and do you get the regular brand or do you get the generic brand? Like, when in doubt, I'd say the generic brand because it's the same stuff usually, like, but for cheaper price. But you have a budget, and so you have to decide what you want to do with that. And then it's just like, if you're a company, how much you're going to sell that for. And then there's this idea of like insurance, which is complicated. There's a lot of math in that. It's like, how does that affect what you're paying for medicine, and how much you're selling medicine for? It all like connects. So there's a lot of math just in just having medicine as like product. When you look at medicine as a field, whoa, there's so much math. For some of the reasons that I mentioned before about like the different fields that medicine connects with, because right, if you get into the field of medicine, it's a big field, right? And whether you're a doctor, a nurse, or technician, you're using math in everything that you do, right? Because you have to know how the body works. You have to get a decent understanding of chemistry and everything that follows from that. Like, if you're going through school and you're in medicine, the same deal, right? Like, you have to learn so much science, and in that science, you have to learn a lot of math. And so, like I said, whether you're a doctor or a nurse or a technician, you have to deal with that. Same if you're into dentistry. And so there's that. But then there's other fields, right? Like that you can get into, like a hospital. I used to work at a hospital once upon a time when I was like looking for some work and trying to break into my field. Now, I was an overnight cashier, and we were there because people gotta eat. I was working in a cafeteria, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of money involved with that, because like there's a lot of money in like the immediate cashiering duties, of course, because I'm taking people's money, and giving them the proper change back and all that good stuff. But in terms of employees, our department had a budget just like anyone else, and so you have all these things going where it's like, so you do have to have like the people who are doing the healing, but you have to have the people that are doing other stuff too. You have to have the administrative side. You have to have people in the cafeteria. You have to have a lot going on, and money is involved in all of that. And back to the school part, like going through school and going through medical school or dentistry school, you have to like look at money with all that, and see if that's a good investment for you, right? Because you spend all these years doing that, and the good news is like if you successfully go through it, you in theory will be making a decent amount of money, or at least that's how the legend goes with these sort of fields. So it's just like money's involved in all that, math is involved in all that, and so to me, that's pretty interesting. And I mentioned insurance earlier, and that's a complicated thing altogether. But money's all in there, math too. And I think one of the things that I wanted to mention was about like expectation, like in a mathematical sense, because that's using like risk assessment and a bunch of other things, and that can impact insurance. And if you're wondering, it's kind of on a different way to talk about mean. Like, it's a kind of a way to predict what might happen. Like, is this risky or is that risky? Like, what do we expect from a given situation? Like, what's the probability of this happening? And then like going from there. So that shows up in medicine. So I think it's very interesting. And then like if you're more into like holistic healing and you're doing some things involved with that, say like acupuncture, for instance, if you're dealing with that, you're dealing with math too, like and your treatments and your business and all of that. So like whatever type of medicine you practice, you're going to be getting into math. Like you're going to be doing math whether you're conscious of that or not. And so I think all of that is fascinating to me. And with these videos, I do want to make sure they don't get too long. Like I try to keep them like around 10 minutes. Like, but I'm not married to it because doing these videos for me and for other people. But yeah, so I don't want to get too long. So I'll kind of wrap it up by saying this: like whether you're talking about medical products or medical services, math is everywhere. If you're running your own practice, math is in that. If you're buying medicine, math is in that. Math determines the prices, money determines the prices. It's all connected. And it's kind of wild in some crazy ways. And I hope this helped connect math and medicine for someone out there. And I encourage you to think of other ways that maybe I missed. And feel free to talk about them and that. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Professor Prime out.